Hey there! So I'm getting ready to watch the last presidential debate of the season, and I decided I needed 2 beers, not just one, because I only have little beers left. So I'm doing a real quick back-to-back review of Pollen or Oktoberfest, and this round is the Ninkasi Oktoberfest style lager. Seasonal release and 5.5% alcohol by volume, 40 IBUs. And a nice way to kind of to celebrate the Oktoberfest season. I was at, I think they even might, no, they didn't have Ninkasi. Anyway, I was at an Oktoberfest this last weekend, and they ran out of beer. Oh my gosh! And I had to drink something called Milli Vanilli, which, anyway, I digress. All right, so let's take a look at this. This is almost citrusy. Has like an almost vanilla sweetness to it, which is really interesting. I know I've had this before, and I did it in a review, group review when we were looking at Oktoberfest style beers, and I remember my short-term memory's weird enough that sometimes I don't remember what I said a week ago, but I feel like I had thought it was a weird, odd beer before, but that it worked out okay. It's funny when people ask me if I've tried a beer. Sometimes, most of the time, I guess I remember, but most of the time I'm like, just Google it. I don't know. Because if you look my name up and the name of the beer, you'll find it if it happened, I think. Or at least I do. Private windows are different. I don't know. All right. Anyway. Interesting. Okay, so color-wise, it's a pale golden color, and it looks like it's pretty crystal clear. Well, maybe just like a tinge of haziness, actually, and doesn't look quite as carbonated as the other one. It didn't pour as heady. It's already disappearing pretty much off the top. Let's drink. It's very interesting. I feel like this is distinctly not a lager. Like, I always can, like, I'm probably hypersensitive to the characteristic taste of a lager because it's really not my favorite style of beer. And this is hoppy and bitter, like it's distinctly bitter and sticks around, the flavor sticks around. It has some maltiness in there. I almost want to say it has a sweetness. Maybe honey. Only maybe though. But that bitterness really just cleans that up real quick. And it's like, it's very hop forward for, I think, for a lager. Definitely for a Marzen style, which should be a malty, a leaning toward malts, but it's an interesting style. It's an interesting beer. So whether or not it's to style, I'm not certain. I almost want to read and see if they were trying to do something crazy. Crafted with the Oregon-grown hops, this Oktoberfest marries northern ingredients with a traditional German style. Celebrating the harvest, this light-bodied beer has a toasty malt bouquet and just a touch of hop bitterness. So I think, if they're using, West Coast, Northwest style hops, they're a much more aggressive hop flavor, danky and gosh, I'm not even going to think of the word, persisting. And so the flavor really sticks around, and it's very distinct and aggressive. And that's definitely here. I feel like, it's not an IPA. Maybe it not even would be considered like the level of hops that you get out of a pale ale necessarily. But it's definitely a hop forward beer where I was expecting, a lager, which I think is terribly subtle and mild, even keel, or even a Marzen style, which of course would be leaning toward the maltier flavors. But you know, if that's a showcase of the style using these little bit different variations on the ingredients, then I suppose that that is expected, but almost becomes, you know, like a specialty beer, or I guess the Ninkasi take on Oktoberfest, or the Northwest version of an Oktoberfest. But I have to admit, I almost can't hate a Ninkasi beer, even if it's not to style. And I'm not so strict to style that I would dislike a beer because it's not to style. If I enjoy drinking it, I don't really care. But you know, I try to be objective. I try to be objective and just focus on the qualities of the beer according to the style, and then talk about those and less about my opinion about it, because otherwise we'll have a bunch of videos where I hate, you know, I hate lagers or, you know, sours. But, you know, anyway, we don't want to get into that. So I think it's an interesting beer. If you're a hop lover, I would definitely check it out. I think it's probably more your style than like a Marzen, or these other Oktoberfest style lager beers where they're very mild and subtle and soft. So there you have it. If you've tried it, tell me your thoughts about it. I would love to hear. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.